as Daniel has said, there is a reason why we came up with this form. One, and he has just explicitly spoken about it. CAK is to do advocacy for the cooperative movement in this country. And I also sit as the Vice President of the ICA Africa chapter, and also a Director of the ICA Global. And there is a lot of interest, as Marube says, in terms of everybody wants to partake what you people have built. And we sat down and thought about it and realized that the leaders of these SACCOs will start with the chairmans and the vice chairmans, and we see how do we come together so that we can have a forum that helps us to fight for our independence. If you know very well, if you remember the cooperative bill, there was a very strategic way that people wanted to sneak in something. It may be good when we speak about governance, but the motive of it was not what all of us thought. And as leaders in CAK, as we continue to fight for the movement, we realize that alone, as CAK, me and Marube and my team here, it is not easy. It is not easy. As we talk, still the bill went to Parliament, it went to Senate, it is back now to mediation. As we were doing that, the SACCO Societies Act also came into play. And I think they are doing public participation. And there are some issues, possibly as leaders where we sit, we feel they were not good, or they are not good for the movement, because we are the users, we are the shoe wearer, we are the people who feel and know what the stage of the movement is and what amendments needs to be done. And so we want to come in here and start a formation that would be very easy to interact with the CAK in case of advocacy issues, so that when we are looking for you, it becomes very easy for us to converge, so that we can still call a meeting in a very short period and get views about the movement from the SACCOs. That is the critical part why we are here. And that is the main agenda why we thought we needed to be here as leaders, the chairman and the vice chairman. Possibly going forward, we will extend it to ensure that all the board members come on board. But we need the leadership, first of all, so that when we are dealing with an issue, as difficult as it was, because you remember, the SACCO bill went in Parliament. When we went for public participation, we did our job. But finally, before it went to the final signing, it had something which we never discussed. So when it got to Senate, then that is the time we were able to work on it. And I'm sure at the stage where it is now, every leader here will be happy with what we have been able to manage. But as I've said, it was not easy, and we thought as leaders it's good we be together. And as Marube has said, so that we come up with a committee or a board or whichever form as leaders we are going to recommend, which will be very easy for us. For example, if something is sneaked in before we have time to discuss, how do we deal with that? Because we can see there are so many things coming in, and you remember our budget is for the year. So if something comes in, how do we deal with it? Your institution, we are waiting for that bill. We see whether we can have enough funds to deal with such emergencies, but the views, we need directions and also advice from each and every leader in the movement, because we cannot assume that SACCOs across the country that we know what they are looking for. So that is why we thought it would be very easy, and it would be good for us to meet here today and tomorrow, so that then we can agree. After that, after we agree, then we'll see the way forward. So mine is to welcome you and tell you thank you for finding time to come for this important session. It actually reflects on our leadership and the institutions that we lead to ensure that they are safe, that people don't sit down and start hearing that police DT is getting to 100 billion, and then they start asking, how are we going to do business with police DT? There are so many issues that when we sit at the table of negotiation, where you sit, you may not understand what those people are looking for. They are looking at that cake, because you take maybe roughly the 10 biggest SACCOs in this country. What is the asset base? We're almost getting to that 800 billion. So they're asking ourselves, how can we be able to partake on that business? And how do they want to come in? They have to change, because I will tell you for sure, maybe some of us never looked at the issue of term limit. That means you are not going to have a strong leadership in that cooperative. And it will be very easy for politicians even to start getting nominated into those boards. Number two, influence at the election. Because if the law became law today, what will happen is next month, all the SACCOs will go for election. It will be total election for every SACCO in this country, a cooperative in this country. And since they are in office now, they have power, what will happen? They will influence the people who are going to be elected. So then you start, maybe you may not have many, but you can have 3. Then the problem starts where? There. Number 2, they don't even understand the forms of cooperatives that we have in this country. I think they look at the big ones, the financial ones. There are some SACCOs where people have come together for a specific economic function. So when you tell them somebody to serve for 2 terms, maybe there are only 10 of them as members, because that is a requirement for you to register a cooperative. After 6 years, where are they going to get leadership? Number 2, the idea of that economic empowerment that they started, it can only be shared by those who are there. Now, when you tell them to leave, what are you saying? Correct? And remember where we have come from with SACCOs. There was control before. And the term limit issue was introduced in the government, but it was removed. But when we go outside, and majority of us have traveled. We've gone to UK, we have gone to US, we have gone to Canada. In those developed countries, there are no term limit. But the SACCOs are doing very well. What is it? And I think Professor Mayaka will be speaking to these issues. As we speak about governance, we need to be relevant about the structure and the reasons why cooperatives, first of all, started in this country. People can sit down. We have very different SACCOs where people have sat down, they have an economic aspect that they want to deal with, and they have dealt with it. Now you are telling them, after 6 years, you need to close your business. Because that is what it means. You need to come with a shared vision of what we are doing and what that institution is doing. So please, we must safeguard. Even the Bible tells us we must safeguard jealously what God does. Right? So even as we sit here, don't take your leadership position for granted. For the struggle you did, God was ahead of you to be where you are. And you are not just there to be a chairman or a vice chairman. There's a reason why you are there. Sidio? There's a reason why you sit there as a chairman or a vice chairman. And majority of the success of those institutions, some of them are because of your leadership. Your leadership, the way you have been able to put in a team to work and ensure that they produce and grow. Nobody ever thought that in the next 2 years, we are going to have a cooperative in this country with over 100 billion. And it's going to happen. Because the biggest four, they are around 76, the highest is 76 billion. And if you look at the growth, it's almost averaging on 10 billion. So in the next 3 years, we are going to be there. If we don't build this governance and also know how the structure can be destroyed, that we have built over time, then it is not good. And we say there's a leadership in CAK that we need to come together. We work together so that we also safeguard. Because if today they are looking for Mwalimu National, there's the biggest SACCO in this country in terms of what they do. How can we get in? How can we partake on what they are doing? Even the small SACCO. And I'm sure some SACCOs are big in counties. And even the leadership in the counties are getting scared because of the size of the SACCO you are controlling. Because if you are controlling a SACCO with over 12 billion, I don't think whether in this country there is a county which gets from government more than 9 or 10 billion. So then you are controlling, you have a big economic empowerment than the leadership at that county. So let's get, and let's, a leader is somebody who can know where the challenges are coming in and where the danger comes in. So let's be together, let's listen to the presenters, and then tomorrow we'll be able to come up with that leadership position so that we can continue to safeguard our cooperatives. Let me invite Professor Charles Mayaka to come and start us off.